Why are the suppliers of ASML of crucial importance? And what role do other players have? As I mentioned in my last video, in order to keep maintaining Moore's law, innovation is key. The chip sector works with prototypes, so in the beginning the machines of ASML have a lot of issues. To quickly discover these issues, good relations with their customers like TSMC and Samsung are crucial. On the other hand, in solving these issues, ASML has to cooperate closely with all of their 5,000 suppliers. So without their suppliers, ASML would be nowhere. But suppliers are not the only cornerstone in the ecosystem of ASML. In this video, I will explain how the unique ecosystem of ASML developed and which relations exist between the different players in this system. One of the most important aspects of ASML's ecosystem are its suppliers. Why are the suppliers so important for ASML? Every machine has approximately 100,000 components. Every component has to be top of the notch and has to keep innovating in the future to keep up with the ever-increasing need for smaller chips with more capacity. In this video, I will focus on one of the most important suppliers of ASML, Carl Zeiss. By outlining their evolving relationship with ASML, you'll get a good understanding of how ASML works with all of their suppliers. In 1986, ASML is an ambitious startup full of big plans. There's just one problem. They are completely dependent on a 150-year-old traditional German company called Carl Zeiss. Carl Zeiss is the only supplier of optical lenses for the lithography machines of ASML, and it's not even their core business. For ASML to increase their production, Carl Zeiss needs to increase their supply significantly. However, this is easier said than done. Back in the 70s, Carl Zeiss is a top producer of mechanical shutters in their objectives. However, Nikon and Canon are making electronical shutters, which are less precise but cost only 1/10 of the mechanical shutters of Carl Zeiss. Even though Carl Zeiss keeps promoting their shutters as qualitatively better, they are losing the battle to Nikon and Canon based on their price. This will lead Carl Zeiss to lose the majority of their market share in the beginning of the 90s. In this period, ASML comes knocking at their door. The cultural differences could not have been bigger. A young Dutch rebellious startup versus a 150-year-old German institute. In the early 1990s, the West German factory of Carl Zeiss is fighting to survive through budget cuts and reorganizations, and making lenses for a Dutch startup in the highly specialized lithography market is at the bottom of their priority list. ASML knows it must change this attitude if they want to survive. The first step to do this is by positioning an ASML representative at the factory of Carl Zeiss. He sees that the people are extremely motivated and capable, but their production methods are not suited anymore for the new techniques that ASML is demanding. However, bringing this message bluntly would jeopardize ASML relationship with their most essential supplier. It's a balancing act in diplomacy, but slowly Carl Zeiss is receiving the message and things are improving. In 1994, ASML is growing hard, but their bottleneck is still Carl Zeiss. To increase the commitment, ASML asks Carl Zeiss to participate in an investment round of approximately $50 million. The top management of Carl Zeiss sees the potential, but they are broke and therefore dependent on their sister company Scott to make the call. The management of Scott does not see the potential of this weird Dutch company and declines. Consequently, the investment round fails, and ASML speeds up their plan for a listing on the Nasdaq in order to get the needed capital to finance their growth. In 1995, a new CEO, Peter Grossman, is appointed at Carl Zeiss, and he does see the potential of the lithography business. At the same time, the company is financially struggling, and Grossman has to ask ASML for financial aid in order to maintaining their deliveries to them. When Grossman visits ASML to ask for money, he is being lectured by the top management of ASML. This historical meeting will prove to be a turning point in the relationship between ASML and Carl Zeiss. Their cooperation improves strongly after this meeting, and in 2016 ASML takes a 24.9% participation in Carl Zeiss as a proof of their partnership. So what can we learn from the Carl Zeiss story? Basically, ASML is nowhere without their suppliers. The technology of Carl Zeiss was and is absolutely crucial for the machines of ASML. Such a dependency requires a different relationship compared to a normal supplier. This is why ASML transformed their relationship with Carl Zeiss into a partnership. ASML could have easily taken over Carl Zeiss. Why didn't they? As explained in this video, the corporate cultures of both companies were extremely different. ASML acknowledges the strong aspects of Carl Zeiss' corporate culture and sees it as an essential part of their success. Taking over the entire company might jeopardize this culture and the overall performance of both companies. The evolving relationship between Carl Zeiss and ASML turned out to be a blueprint for the entire ecosystem of suppliers. In 2011, ASML announced their ambition to strongly decrease its amount of suppliers. At the same time, the remaining suppliers had to become partners, just like Carl Zeiss, and they received a deadline for that. In 2015, all suppliers had to be grown into a full partner, adhering to the standards of ASML. As of today, ASML is working with 5,000 partners worldwide on their newest EUV technology. They created an ecosystem of partners with whom they can achieve the highest standard for every of the 100,000 parts of their machines. An incredible job if you look at it. Due to the partnership structure ASML established with their suppliers, the company is able to innovate in every part of its technology. Thereby, they create a level of technology unprecedented before. Additionally, it is the result of more than 20 years of investing in basically everything: corporate culture, knowledge institutions, technology, and so on. All these efforts are bundled in the newest EUV technology in which ASML has a world monopoly. Although it's not impossible for other countries to copy this system, it will take decades, just like it did with ASML. At the same time, this ecosystem of highly innovating companies is also a fertile ground for new technologies. For example, the first startups in the new technology of photonics are already becoming successful in the same area as ASML. How did this Eindhoven region become the smartest in the world? Part of the answer is Brainport. Brainport is the official name for the ecosystem of tech companies in the Eindhoven area, with ASML as its beating heart. But it's not just companies. What truly characterizes the Brainport area is the unique cooperation between companies, government, research and education institutes, also called the Triple Helix. Where China has its state-led capitalism and the USA its shareholder value capitalism, Brainport reflects a middle way where companies, government, research institutions and universities work with a shared agenda. This shared agenda consists of building an ecosystem in which companies can thrive to address the big questions of the future. This shared agenda helps to establish partnerships between these parties, thereby creating a whole that is bigger than the sum of its parts. Although this form of partnership is not entirely unique, the institutionalization of its cooperation is. Nowhere in the world this form of cooperation is so explicitly fixated in official agreements. As a result, the Brainport area is now one of the most, if not the most, innovative area worldwide, with ASML at its core. Therefore, moving the ASML headquarters to Amsterdam or even another country would be completely unthinkable. So, can China copy this system? This is the $1,000,000 or maybe even $1,000,000,000 question for the future of ASML and their share price. Currently, ASML has the world monopoly in the latest generation of chip machines, based on the extreme ultraviolet lithography technology. But as the CEO of ASML recently stated, physics and mathematics are the same in Veldhoven as they are in China. However, the unique ecosystem of ASML, with its wide range of stakeholders, ranging from suppliers to universities, and from research institutes to local governments, is not easily copied. The ecosystem is a reflection of a specific form of capitalism, not being state-led capitalism, but neither pure shareholder capitalism. This specific ecosystem allows every company to innovate at the highest rate, because they have the motivation and freedom to do so, with a facilitating state as their supporter, and often the financial backup in order not to have profit as the number one priority. At the same time, this area is able to attract the brightest minds to migrate here, due to the high living standards. This is a crucial factor to keep this rate of innovation going. So yes, theoretically it is possible for China and any other country to copy this system. Realistically though, the BrainPort area is unique in all of its aspects. But what about the customers of ASML? Can they decide to go shop somewhere else? Geopolitical reasons make this a valid question, also for the foreseeable future. In the next video, I'll analyze how the relationship between ASML and one of its biggest customers, Samsung, developed over time. These relationships show the strong relations between ASML and their customers, just as they have with their suppliers.